Untold History of Temple, Texas. Here we are with episode 2, coming right back one more time. Hello everyone, I am Paul Wizzo and welcome to Wizzo Talk. Why Wizzo Talk? Because I want to know. Don't you? Thought I'd throw that off in there. Just kind of mix it on up a little bit. But you have a hot topic you'd like to hear discussed on Wizzo Talk? Hit me up in the comments. You have a hot topic? Just said that, hit me up in the comments. You'd like to be a guest on Wizzo Talk? Also hit me up in the comments. I come at you uncut and unedited. I didn't mess my intro up, but hey, you know what I mean. We're going to keep on rolling with it. I'm not going to cut anything. I'm not going to edit anything. I'm here with my guest that's been on the show a couple of times, talking about some untold history of Temple, Texas. You're not going to find it in any history book. You're not going to find it on Google. And you're not going to find it on ChatGPT or AIT and BFCD. So anyway, I'm letting my guest do his intro, and we're going to get right on off into it. And remember, it's always free to subscribe, it's free to like, and it's free to share. Let my guest do his intro.
My name is Larry Womack, one of the original senior citizens of Temple. Born and raised in Temple, come up in Larry Womack is my name.
All right.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about my life and a little bit of history about Temple.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
That'll work. Before we get on there, I have 3 poster boards that we want to get on first.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back again and let you go and get off of that. But today, I have 3 poster boards that we're going to cover and let you tell everybody a little bit about this. Because if you guys go back to the very first video I did with Mr. Womack here, growing up in the 1940s, you'll hear a lot about him growing up, his brothers and sisters, and so forth and so on. But today, we're going to talk about, see if you can tell me about this picture right here. Let me turn a little bit so you can go on and see. This is in the Negro Civic League. So, and we have some photos. And this lady here, if you can tell us about this lady here and her name.
Yeah, that's Miss Hornsby.
Miss Hornsby?
Yeah, that's Miss Hornsby. That's who that is. She used to own Hornsby's Funeral Home right there on 8th Street. Mm-hmm. 8th and Avenue A, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's Avenue A to Cross Street. But I know it's right there on 8th Street.
Right.
And they opened in 1949. That's when that place opened.
Right. And you guys, I mean, those of you that may be just listening to the audio and not seeing the video, and I can't zoom in on it so you can wind up seeing it, but he's saying that's Miss Hornsby here in Temple on 8th Street, which is now MLK.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that building was established, and she ran that funeral home. What did you say?
It opened in 1949.
1949.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. All righty then.
And the Dalys live right across the street from it. L.C. Daly. He born in 1924. And he's still living today, and I talk to him every now and then.
Every now and then, 1924. Yeah. All right then. And this lady right here.
That's Cora Anderson.
Okay.
And Cora Anderson was the first white lady to marry a black man that I knew of in Temple. And she had this hospital built for the black people in the 60s. Yeah. Right.
And she was the first lady that you know of, white lady, to marry a black man here in Temple.
In Temple, that's right.
Oh, okay. All right then. And so now we have a picture with about, about like 8 individuals on there, and 1 lady. And I'll read those names off for someone that can't see it, or I'll attempt to read those names off anyway. So it's saying that for you that can see it here, right here from my left is L.C. Browning.
Yeah.
And then right here we got Reverend E.L. Spencer. And here I have a Miss K.W. Thomas. And here is Adele Murdick. And right here, this guy here is S.M. Romel. And the one right next to him is Joseph Wright. And then the last one right here at the top is Mr. Hollins, S.M. Hollins. Down on the bottom, we have Leon Boner, Edward Ratliff right here. And last one is A.R.D. Hubbard. And if you can just tell us about any one of those that you may know something about. I know I've heard of the Browning before, I believe. So just if you can tell us anything about any of those guys there.
Well, the only one I knew of those people, and I had seen them. But now Reverend Browning, I knew him well.
Okay.
Reverend Browning used to be pastor over at the church on 20, well, it's called Bethel now, and I think
Right.
that's 22nd.
I believe that is 22nd.
Yeah,
somewhere in
well,
there.
he was pastor over there at that church for years. That was back in the 60s,
Oh, okay.
early 60s, yeah.
Right.
And I knew him well, but the rest of them, I didn't really know him that well. No.
And the thing to all you that's watching, if you notice that he only tell you about what he know. So if he don't know anybody or he don't know one, he don't go on and make anything up. He just tell you, I don't know anything about them, but whatever he's telling you is to the best of his knowledge. And you always see that he's always trying to get the dates right and the years right, because he always trying to focus on that a lot. Sometimes I say it's okay if you don't get the year, but he be struggling with it. But anyway, that is those guys right there. And you was going to say something else on that?
I was going to tell you too about those guys there. They used to get together and raise money for the young blacks to get playground equipment and stuff for the Jeff Hamilton Park.
Okay.
And other places too. They would raise money, put their money together. They was a group.
Right. And that's why it's the Negro Civic League. And I believe we had something else the other day we did a podcast on. It was I think it may have been the same Negro Civic League, and they probably was all the members or something like that.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, well, we're going to go here right on ahead. If this don't fall on me, we're going to go right on to my next picture here. And so those of you that can't see, just starting right here on the end.
Okay, that's an 8th Street Baptist Church they building over there.
Yes.
But I didn't ever see it when they was building.
Right, because I'm looking at that, and some of them they can't watch it, but that picture is saying 8th Street Baptist Church in 1911. The photo is when they was building that. So I think that's a little bit before you right there.
But I could tell you a little bit about it though, because in 1947, my mother used to go to that church.
Okay.
And she took Genevieve and I to that church to join 8th Street Baptist Church, and Reverend Trumbull was the pastor at that time. And mother and dad, let's see, my dad wasn't with us. It was just my mother, Genevieve, and I.
Okay.
And we joined 8th Street Baptist Church in 1947.
1947.
Yeah. And mother left in 1948. I never went back to 8th Street Baptist Church until 50 years later. Because I never was really ever a person that go to church a lot.
Right.
Because I grew up on the streets.
Right, exactly. Well, that's all right then. That's all right. And before we get to the one in the middle, the one on the end is saying Weymouth Chapel A&M Church, but it's not a older picture. It's more of an up-to-date picture. What, you have a little bit of knowledge of that church?
Okay, that church right there was right behind Dunbar High School. That's on Avenue E, and this church is on Avenue C, 1 block over.
Okay.
It's right behind Dunbar High School. Dunbar High School was built in 1912. I got pictures of all of this too,
Right.
I'm telling you. And I'm not 100% sure when the church was built, but they have a big historical mark out in front. You can probably look at it and see.
Right.
But now, when I was in school, when I started school in 1946 in the first grade, Miss Polk, Mr. Coy Martin's daughter, was my teacher. And that was in the first grade. And we went to the school in the first grade in the basement of Weymouth Chapel Church. Yeah, because the high school wasn't big enough for all of the elementaries and the high school kids too. So,
So y'all went to school in the basement of that church in 1946?
46, yeah.
Yeah.
But some of them might have went before then, but that's where I went.
That's where you went, yeah?
Yeah.
So it may have been before then. Okay, and just to touch base on this picture, you see all these beautiful black ladies on here, and it's saying like it's the national educator from Florida came to speak in 1948 at the Negro Women's Council of 8th Street Baptist Church. But I think you was telling me the other day that this particular picture probably wasn't taken at 8th Street Baptist Church, or could you recall?
I couldn't say on that. I ain't 100% sure of that.
Okay. But that's still some outstanding history, and they came at the temple in 1948 to speak. The Negro Women's Council of 8th Street Baptist Church.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, y'all stay tuned here. We got one more picture, and then I got some questions for our guests. And so, all right. And this lady right here, you can tell us about her.
Okay, that's the first black cheerleader that I know of. And Genevieve and I, we were working together. And Genevieve knew her, but I didn't really know her myself. But I knew she was the first black cheerleader that they had at Dunbar High School.
And about what year would you say that was?
I'm afraid I couldn't really say.
Couldn't really say on that?
Uh-uh.
Right. Okay, all right. And this is the same on her. This is her also on the side, right?
That's all right there too, yeah.
Rocking that natural afro that they starting to rock to these days right now.
Yeah.
They going back to that. And this lady here, it says Miss Black Temple, 1977 at Murdy School Auditorium. Anything about her ring a bell or come to you?
I didn't remember her that well either. That's too new.
Okay.
77.
Right, okay.
But let me tell you one more thing.
Uh-huh.
I remember this little rhyme that they used to have at Dunbar High School. The cheerleaders cheering for the Dunbar Panthers.
What was that?
They say 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits a dollar, all for Dunbar. Jump up and holler.
And they still using that right today, but they
Do
just
they?
changed the name. Yeah, they used that when I was in school. You know, used to say stand up and holler and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so
did
that's
that back in the 50s.
right. That's back in the 50s. So this is Celestine
Yeah.
Mollett is her name.
Uh-huh.
So that was it. So what? And I was talking with you the other day. Are you going to say something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we was at Woodson Field. That was the segregation days. We couldn't go to the Wildcat Stadium.
Right.
We had to be at Woodson Field, Dr. Woodson's Field. Let the blacks play football over there and have a good time and everything. Dr. Woodson.
Dr. Woodson.
And my daddy worked for him. He was his chauffeur.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a dog then. Okay. Now, when I was talking with you yesterday, I messed it up, but calling Dunbar murdered or something like that, and you was telling me about someone that had got killed or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it got named. So tell everyone that right there.
Yeah, Mr. Meredith. When they named it Dunbar, it was Dunbar High School first, when they first opened up. But Mr. Meredith was on his way home after school and went across the railroad track down there on 30th Street and a train hit him. And he got killed. So they named the school Dunbar Meredith after he passed.
After he passed.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mr. Meredith started being the principal in 1940.
Right.
Yeah.
1940. Okay. And while we own Dunbar Meredith, I believe, was it Mean Joe Green went there also?
Yeah, Joe Green was up there too, yeah.
Yeah, at Dunbar Meredith.
Yeah, he went to Dunbar Meredith. They call him Mean Joe Green.
Right.
Yeah.
Mean Joe Green. Now, on that note, also, the first player from Temple to play in the NFL, I believe you told me that it wasn't Mean Joe Green. It was someone else at first.
That's right. It was Rufus Granison.
Rufus Granison?
Yeah, class of 1955. Joe Green was in the 70s.
Oh, okay. And I think somebody tried to Google that and couldn't even find that.
I know they can't unless they ask me.
Yeah, 1955.
He was class of 55.
Class of 55.
But now he went to college, and then he went to the NFL.
Right.
Somebody picked him up and he went to the NFL and he played for the Detroit Lions. But now he tried out for other places, but they didn't pick him up. Plus they called him Big Straight.
Big Straight.
Yeah, he was probably about 6'6", 6'7", and he was just straight up, great big old guy. But when he went to the NFL, he spread it out because he could eat. Like in them days, black people, Negroes were hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard that in 1955. So he was the first person from Temple to go to the NFL
That's right.
in 1955, and Joe Green came in the 70s.
Yeah, but now Rufus didn't. He was class of 1955.
Okay.
But you got to go to college for two or 3 years or whatever.
Gotcha.
And when you come out of college, then you go to the NFL. But I think it was 59 when he was when the Detroit Lions picked him up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Untold Black History of Temple, Texas, as told by Mr. Womack. Hey, you guys, I'm telling you, you're not going to find it on Google. You're not going to find it on AGPT, ACD, whatever that stuff called there. You're not going to find it. He lived it, he know it, and he's talking about the people, and you're getting it firsthand. So I have just 2 other questions, and you've told me this before about over on the north side of town, over by Lamar, blacks wasn't allowed to be over there on that side of
That's
town,
right.
correct? Yeah. They just couldn't, get over that side of town, probably get run off by the cops or whatever.
That's right. Wasn't supposed to be out there. Up there where Lamar School is, and what you call that park?
Miller Park. Miller Park.
Yeah, we couldn't go way up there.
Right.
No. That was up on the north side. That's where all of the real wealthy white people live.
Okay. No blacks allowed on the north side.
they couldn't.
Those of you from Temple, you know where Lamar is back over there on that side, and you know where Miller Park, cause Temple always hosts functions over at Miller Park all the time.
Yeah.
So you guys know where that was. So no black people was allowed at that time over there.
No.
And this was probably back in 50s.
Yeah, that was back in the 50s because
Back in the
see,
50s.
I got lost up there back in the early 50s when I walked up Nugent Avenue, not Nugent, but Main Street all the way to the dead end, just walking.
Right.
It didn't have nothing to do. And how I found my way back, I got lost. And I found my way back
Yeah.
to downtown. I seen Mr. Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call Mr. Schultz. This is the N word now.
Yeah.
They used to call him Nigger Schultz.
Nigga shows.
That was his nickname.
Right.
And that's what everybody called him. That's Miss Hattie Mae Allen's relative.
Right.
Yeah. And I followed him all the way back downtown. Then I knew where I was.
Knew where you was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's outstanding. Untold history of Temple, Texas, guys. Right here telling about Mr. L.J. Womack, a.k.a. Tootie or Larry Womack. Those of you that really know him.
All three of them.
All three of them. Same guy. So there's one other thing that I have to get you to tell everybody about, and you talked about it in our first episode, and I'm not sure of the year, but it was something when you saved some young girl, white girl, from being raped. So if you just tell everyone about that before we get ready to get out of here, now stay tuned for this. Don't miss this right here.
Okay, this was June the 9th of 81. I left home that morning. It was one Wednesday morning, going to work to open up a station. I was managing a station for Frank Smith. He was a rich white man on Frank's Lakeview Inn. And I was working for his son named Rick, and his mama was named Nita Smith. I was working for them. All right, I went up there and went to open up the station, but on the way to the station, I seen a pickup with about 5 or 6 guys on the back of that pickup. And I was driving a 1970 model Super Sport Chevelle jet black with solid white with black stripes. And it was a real fancy car, and the people, they admired that car because I kept it spotless, looked like it was brand new. And I seen this little girl walking across the bridge from over there by Jack in the Box. She left Jack in the Box to walk across Interstate 35 to go for a job interview over there at that lumber company. I think it was called Boys of Cascade, I believe.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was the name of it. But before it was Boys of Cascade, it was NBC, National Building Center before then.
Okay.
But it was Boys of Cascade at the time when the girl was walking across the overpass. And she looked at that old car of mine, and she kind of smiled, and I don't know, she kind of tried to wave with her hand low, kind of waved a little bit. Didn't want nobody to really see her waving at a black man. So I went on to work, and the next time I seen that girl, I done already made it to the station. I go to the restroom first, about 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the restroom first, and while I was in the restroom, I heard somebody hollering. I raised up and looked out the door, and I seen this guy dragging this girl around the back of a building. He was beating her up, tearing her clothes off of her. And I shot up in the air with a .357 Magnum, trying to get his attention, but I couldn't get his attention because he was too hyped up. And I was hopped up too. So I say, he will never ever ignore this sound no more whenever I catch him with him. So I got out of that restroom and ran across that field, and he heard me running across that field in that grass, real tall grass. He heard me running when he was laying on the girl. And he raised up, looked, and then he got up and took his shoes off, and he ran north on Interstate 35. Well, he lived south. I didn't never know nothing about that until later.
Right.
But he lived in the South. He lived in Belton. But he ran north because I was hot on his tail. I was after him. And I seen that girl later. I said, I got to catch this guy. This guy, they going to think I did that, me being a black man.
Right.
They going to think I did that. So I seen a lot of other white people driving cars by, and they never stopped or anything. But when I couldn't catch old boy, I come back. And then it had 2 cars done stopped. Women, they were white women, got out and they were checking on the girl, helping her get herself together. And I stopped, and I was seeing them, watching them get herself together, and then I seen that guy walking back south. Yeah, I said, oh, I got him now. When I come up, we're across that same field and come up in the front of him.
Right.
And oh, he was trying to intimidate me. Oh, he was cussing and raising, saying he ain't did nothing to me, him F this and him F that. He wasn't doing nothing but making my hair stand up on the top of my head like old dog's hair right up on his back, making him mad. I said, and he was walking up on me. Had a shoe in his hand, one shoe in one hand and the other hand down. He's gonna hit me with that shoe. When he swung at me with that shoe, he missed me. I throwed my head back, he missed me. And then I went around, I hit him upside the head with that .357 Magnum. Boom! Shot it all at the same time. He didn't ever know what happened. He thought I shot him. He went down. And when he went down on the ground, I didn't know he was knocked out. I'm kicking him, telling him, cussing him. I don't cuss no more.
Right.
But anyway, I was kicking him, calling him all kind of this and that, and telling him to get up. Like I said, I didn't know he was knocked out, but after a while, he woke up.
Okay.
But the first words out of his mouth, I got his attention. He said, please, Mr. Colored Man, let me go. I ain't did nothing to you. He ain't did nothing to me, but he did something to that girl.
Right. I heard that. So you got his attention in.
Yeah, I got his attention. I was Mr. Colored Man. I wasn't no more MF.
Right. I know that. And I believe the city gave you an award and everything for that.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to see our thing.
Yeah.
The city and the Optimus Club. I spoke at 3 or 4 different places, like the Lions Club, the Optimus Club. They wanted to see our black folks think.
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe also that black man said that white girl was getting raped by a white guy. It wasn't a black guy, it was a white guy trying to rape.
Both of them was white.
Both of them was white.
I ain't knew neither one of them. The police tried to tell me, one of the detectives interviewing me, trying to catch me in a lie.
Right.
So they don't know. I stayed 10 steps ahead of them all the time. But anyway, he said, Womack, you should have shot him and let him see what it feel like. He think twice before he did it again. I said, well, I couldn't shoot him. He didn't have a knife. He didn't have a gun. I didn't think I need to use deadly force because he ain't had none. He's a man. I'm a man. I can take him down. And I put him down, too.
You hit him with that .357 and got his attention then. I already know it.
He thought I shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how come I got his attention so well.
Right. I heard that. Untold Stories of Temple, Texas, guys, as told by Mr. Larry Womack, LJ, or AK Tootie. All right, guys. Hey, I'm going to invite you guys to stay tuned. We have many more episodes to this here of Untold History of Temple, Texas. I'll display 2 or 3 photos from time to time, poster boards, and let him tell you about this. Again, this is not in no history book. You would not read about it, hear about it anywhere because he lived it and know about it himself and personally telling you about all these stories right here of himself. Ain't that right?
It's stuck in my head.
It's stuck in my head. I also want to invite you to stay tuned because I know a lot of you heard about Jeff Hamilton. So I'm saving that one for kind of last. So we're not going to talk on that one yet. But I'm telling you, it's just a whole, I don't even know the word for it, but it's a lot of history going to tell you about Jeff Hamilton coming up. That'll take place probably on our 4th or maybe the 5th episode. I'm saving that one for kind of last. But anyway, as always, I'm glad to have you on Wizzo Talk. Look forward to having you many more times.
Yep.
Y'all don't know that's my dad. But anyway, I am Paul Wizzo. Thank you for watching Wizzo Talk. Remember, it's free to subscribe, it's free to share, and it's free to like. And as we started out earlier, I messed up my intro, but hey, I roll with it because I play it like you said, uncut and unedited. I am Paul Wizzo. Holla at your boy.